Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. I have some new subscribers, so welcome. Happy you're here. I'm going to show you guys a day in the life of Danny, and that includes kids, greenhouse, orchids, houseplants, all the above. So let's get going. So this is a day in the life of Danny. I have two of my kiddos out here playing in muddy water pool and toys, and it keeps them occupied so I can do other stuff. We don't have technology here at my house. I don't have computers, tablets. They use their imagination and they play outside. Let's get to the greenhouse. So before we go to the greenhouse, guys, I'm going to show you my house plants on the front porch. And what is funny about this is my fourth time trying to reshoot this part of this video because it's either kids screaming in the background or my husband in the background.
Don't you do that to me.
So, you know, day in the life of Danny. So this is where I keep a lot of my house plants. I like to propagate them. This is Alocasia Frederick Green Velvet, and I love it because it just glows. And I have one of the babies up there propagating. So in the mornings I come out and I check everything out because I do have my zygos up top. And I probably look at this zygo flower spike 1,500 times a day. And I have some little curly spider plants that I've propagated. I have a Hindu rope from a friend on Foul Pal page. So I come out here and I just check everything out before the direct sunlight comes and hits everything. And I have a few more over here. In the mornings I come out and I feed my banana plant. It's a heavy feeder. And I just check all of my house plants out. So let's go to the greenhouse, you guys. On to the greenhouse. As you can see, it's looking a little bare. I do have some orchids pulled outside in the shade that was getting watered. You can see it's hot. I do all this stuff before it gets this hot in here. And you can see the humidity is horrible. So I do all of this stuff beforehand. I do have a Vanda soaking right now that I need to pull out. My sprayer, my kids broke it. Go figure. And so I now have to resort to soaking like this, watering like this, which is okay for the time being until I go out and get another sprayer. So this is what I do. I know a lot of people don't like to use a community pot to water, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna go through today and cut a lot of old flower spikes off. I have a lot of old flower spikes that need to be cut off. I have to go through today and water some of my more, what would you say, sensitive plants, I guess. Like my Sederia japonica back there. I'm really picky on how I water her. So I really take my time when I do that. I don't just throw it in a bucket like I do my Vandas. And I'm going to repot some of these phals because I was pretty lazy on doing that when I did it the first time. So time out, you guys, because the day in the life of Danny, I've got to make lunch for kids. Making some macaroni and cheese and peanut butter and jelly. Be back. I'm going to go get the stuff ready to water my Sederia japonica. Don't mind my husband's derby car or whatever he's making it into be. This is an unfiltered, unedited video of what I do. This is my little cabinet that I store stuff here in the garage, just random things. I have over here a sink. Sorry guys, I had to stop for a second. I had a child screaming. Like I told you, this is the day in the life of Danny. Yeah, that's an empty wine bottle sitting there next to my fertilizer. But let's go to the greenhouse and I'll show you how I'm going to water my Sederia. All right, we have finally made it back to the greenhouse after all of the interruptions from my children. My Sederia japonica, she has spent since February putting on new roots, putting on leaf after leaf, and this is how I water her. I make sure that that water does not get past this point. I've heard a lot of people online have problems with getting stem rot very easily with this orchid. So I am very particular and picky on how I water it, just for that reason. And I don't put any media very close up here because I want it to be very airy and for it to dry very quickly. And so far it has worked, and she's just loving life right now, pushing out roots, pushing out leaves, and I hope sometime in the future I can get some blooms from her. So I'm gonna let her soak for about 5 minutes. Be back. So as I let my Sederia japonica soak in the greenhouse for a few minutes, I'll show you what I did earlier today. I put a lot of my orchids that get the higher light out here in the shade, and I went through and I watered them. I did notice today this little dendrobium is for my Foul Pal Durrell with Orchids for Dummies, and I noticed something has been chewing on it. So I gotta figure out who has done that, because that's rude. And I also noticed I've got a sheath. That's the thing I love about these orchids, is I have been walking out to the greenhouse and finding new things quite frequently. This is my BLC Dr. Joe Walker cotton candy. I'm excited to see what that bloom or blooms will look like, or even if it'll give me some blooms. I'm hoping so. But yeah, that is what's going on right now. I've got some leaves that I need to cut off that got sunburnt. So let's go get that Sederia out of its water. So she's been soaking for a few minutes. I'm gonna let her drip dry on the gravel. I'm gonna take my Vanda out and hang her back up. And the Vandas are watered, the big ones. Now it's time for the smaller Vandas to get some water. And I don't put them in that big pot. I put them in this little one here. And I let them soak. Just like that, you guys. And now that the Sederia has drip dried, I'm gonna put her back in her little home right there. So that's kind of my daily routine of interruptions by kids and watering here and there when I can. Thanks for following along with me, you guys. Happy growing. Till next time.